George, the chapel looks like it's been built right into the rock.
You're right. We should take a look inside.
Not that we have anywhere else to go.
How old do you think the chapel is?
I'm guessing the exterior's a couple of 100 years old, but the inside? Who knows? Some parts could be much older.
Oh, thank God it didn't crash.
You think somehow this chapel might be connected to the face in the rock?
At a guess, I would say so. Hey, look! It's Pearl and Dwayne.
Come on, honey bun. Things ain't that bad.
You just don't understand.
Yeah, Dwayne.
Today's been a disaster.
But
The monastery was closed. We got stuck in the cable car. And now this place is a building site.
aw, sweetie pie.
This was supposed to be the spiritual highlight of our trip, Dwayne. But the only spirit I see is that rotten turpentine over there.
Aw, heck.
Clearly, the Hendersons weren't having a great vacation.
Yeah, this is the third time I've done this, by the way. Every time I enter this bloody church, it crashes. I don't know why. Last time I played this game, I had no trouble. And then again, last time I played this game was, what, 2017? A while ago. But yeah, every time I enter, like, a cut between one scene to another, you know, the black screen? Yeah, it just crashes. Dashboards me straight out of the game. It's like, what the fuck, man? I'm getting tired. Getting tired of playing this fucking game. To be honest, I've not even recorded that much. And I'm just piss bored having to restart it. It's really annoying me.
Wood shavings. This was one building site that needed Mr. Tidy. They smelt exotic.
Ooh.
My mother always said cleanliness is next to godliness.
And my mum always said don't eat yellow snow. So, how about that? There are certain things you can do.
It was an old crank handle.
You have to examine before George lets you do certain things. There's something over here we need. The toolbox. I'm trying to think how you do this section of the game. Ugh. Yeah, we need the hammer. We need to get the turpentine. And the wood shavings. And then we can talk to the Henderson.
Great to see you again, Mr. Henderson.
Great to see you too, George. Great work back there with the cable car.
That is not Dwayne's voice.
Is Pearl okay?
I wish. I'm afraid we're having one of those days where everything goes wrong.
Tell me about it.
His voice didn't sound too similar to his... Is Dwayne in Broken Sword 3? I don't remember if he was or not. It was in 4. He was in the Swedish baths or the Turkish baths or... No, not Turkish, was it? It was the baths in... Where was we? It was in Rome, wasn't it? The Roman baths. Was he in 3? God, I can't bloody remember.
Is there anything we can do for Pearl?
I sure as hell hope so, George. She's been planning and researching this trip for years. Our little pilgrimage. And Santa Cova Chapel here was the cherry on the cake. Not a thing she don't know about this place. Madonna, blah, blah, blah. Chapel built in, yada, yada, yada. She's Santa Cova's very own walking encyclopedia. Well, weeping encyclopedia, I should say.
So what brings you to Santa Cova?
Pearl's idea from the get-go. Ever since the unfortunate car accident back home, she's been scouring those pilgrimage brochures, Gotta be full of wonder and life-changing imagery. Got to have penance potential. Got to offer a real spiritual experience.
Well, I'm sure this place will be very spiritual once it's finished.
If the chapel is not what she expected, how about the monastery?
Hot dog, no. That place is for tourists, not pilgrims.
You
No, that's what the brochure promised. Pilgrimages, little monk fellas, singing, shafts of light, the whole shebang.
Smells, bells, and heavenly lights.
Yeah, that's what the lady wanted.
What have you been up to since we last met in 𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘴?
Well, there was that little sideshow in Rome, but we can't talk about that. You know why, George.
I do? I do.
Why?
It's a snoozer.
Top secret.
Need to know, Nico. Dwayne is, snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No way, honey. A snoozer's at least 2 pay grades up from a sleeper. So I hear. Anyway, I don't believe I've had the pleasure, Miss,
Nicole Collar. Call me Nico.
Well, how's about that? So this is the beautiful Nico. No wonder you've been hiding her away from me, Georgie boy.
Gosh, no,
It's lovely to finally meet you too, Mr. Henderson. George has told me so much about you.
Oh, call me Dwayne, my dear. And let me assure you of one thing. Everything you've heard is quite possibly true.
Dwayne was loud, large, and short-sighted, but boy was he a charmer.
Really? God, shut up.
Oh, excuse me.
Good.
Girl needs me.
I can't stand listening to people cry. It pisses me off. It angers me.
There, dear.
I don't know why. Nobody
Pearl
wants
could
to
be
hear
a
anyone
mine of
sobbing.
Information about the chapel, if we could just cheer her up.
And that's what we got to do. We gotta give her the full Monty, or whatever the fuck it was called. How heavenly smells, sound, and a light. I think it says in here. How do I create heavenly smells? Yeah. It's not too difficult. It's potpourri, by the way. I don't know how many people know what potpourri is. It's not something that you... Such an 80s thing, isn't it? You still buy
I put
potpourri?
flowers in the mug.
The wood shavings.
I mixed the shavings with the flowers.
Nice.
Potpourri. Grandma would have been proud.
And then if you spray in some Brett, because what the fuck
I
not?
sprayed Brett onto my experimental potpourri. 1 sniff would kill a man for sure. 2 might kill a woman.
How's that Brett made out of? And then you light... No, not with a cockroach. Matches.
I lit the scented shavings. A sweet aroma started to fill the room.
And we can... That's the smells. We do the heavenly lights next. I think this is right.
I lit the candles on the candelabra.
Nice. And then you use the side mirror of the candelabra.
I rested the side mirror precariously on the candelabra.
And then use the wool or the yarn to tie
I
it to the
secured the mirror in
candelabra.
place
Yep.
with some yarn. The crank handle was...
I know what it is, George. Use it. Don't examine it.
Now that was something. The light from the candelabra spilled over the Black Madonna like waves of spiritual goodness in candle form.
That's the heavenly light. Now, the heavenly noise is the most annoying one out of this whole bloody thing. So, the turpentine we picked up, you use it in one of the paint tins.
I poured the turpentine into the paint can.
So, if you notice that Dwayne's whistling Ave Maria, you have to recreate Ave Maria with the hammer and these certain things.
The hammer produced a promising sound.
It's the drum, the paint tins, the fire extinguisher. And you have to make it sound like Ave Maria. I don't read music, so when Dwayne whistles and you get the music sheet thing pop up, it means absolutely nothing to me. So
G, F sharp, G, B, A, G. I had it. It was the tune Dwayne was humming.
George, that's Ave Maria. Let me have a go.
and then of course Nico's like, I can one up you, mate. This makes no sense how she does this. How did she do that? That makes no sense.
Wow, you really nailed that, Nico.
Yep, this mop really is pretty special. Leave this to me.
Pumpkin? Oh my!
What?
The sound of angels, the lights of heaven, the smell of piety, and
Yes?
the Madonna, I do believe. Tears. She's crying, Dwayne! The Madonna's crying. Father, son, little Timmy. Wrong side of the road. Not my fault. The broken leg. Compensation claim. Forgive me, poor Timmy.
Oh, Pearl, my precious, you're such a sensitive soul.
Well, now that's done. I feel my soul's floating on air. We can get on with our pilgrimage, Dwayne.
Just another 1,000 clicks to go.
Pearl was back to her usual cheery self.
She ran some poor dude over, broke his leg, and had a compensation claim. Wow.
Mrs. Henderson,
George, dear boy.
how you feeling?
Oh, just fine, thank you. I have just seen a miracle, George. It's all gonna be all right from now.
I'm sure it is, Mrs. Henderson. I'm sure it is. What can you tell me about the statue?
I read that the Black Madonna has been here since the 9th century. She's called the Virgin of Montserrat. Some say the original was moved to the cathedral. But Dwayne and I know that's just a bluff, don't we, honey?
We sure do. This one is the real McCoy.
What can you tell me about Santa Cova?
Well, dear, they call it the Chapel of the Holy Grotto. It was built directly into the mountain itself in 1696. It survived the Napoleonic Wars, mudslides, Civil War. But the chapel is still standing today. It's a miracle.
Or a restoration.
What was that, dear?
Yes, a miracle. Pearl, does this mean anything to you?
Oh, nothing, dear. Apart from the obvious Gnostic connotations, of course.
What?
You know, the Dominicans. All those Gnostic saints. Doubting Thomas, Judas, and you see the woman in the red cloak? The infamous Mary Magdalene herself.
A lady in red.
That's enough now, Dwayne. You know my feelings about her.
Pearl knew her Gnostic onions, all right.
Then there's the Ouroboros, of course.
Something special about it?
Well, if I remember rightly, there was an Ouroboros right here in this chapel. Back in the 30s and 40s, the chapel was renovated. The workmen uncovered numerous symbols carved in the rock. Amongst them was a fine Ouroboros.
But that's amazing. So, where is it?
Oh, it's not there now.
Oh.
It was considered blasphemous, so they plastered over it. Sweetheart,
Dickheads.
I think it's time for us to go. The road to enlightenment waits for no woman.
'Tis the pilgrim's lot, George.
It was so nice to see you again. And meet your girlfriend.
We're not...
Take this radio, Nico. Never know when you might need it.
What?
Keep an eye on our boy George here.
Poor little lost lamb.
I'm not...
Don't worry, this little lamb's in
This little lamb?
Serpent.
What?
Bon voyage.
Why am I a little lamb all of a sudden?
Yes.
Bye, Mum and Dad.
See ya!
Thanks for being part of this game.
Nico, don't even start.
Little lamb?
Let's focus on the task in hand, shall
Better
we?
than little goat, I guess.
Okay. This Ouroboros that Pearl mentioned,
You're right. We need to find it.
I mean, it's kind of obvious where it is. Like, all we need to do is take a hammer and smash the fuck out of this
I
altar.
hoped this was the right thing to do.
It's not rigid on it, mate. It's plastered over. Boop.
Hey, Nico, I found the Ouroboros.
That was difficult.
So what now?
Pearl was right. The plaster had covered an Ouroboros.
This next part had me a bit confused. I know where to go, but I couldn't remember how to trigger it. So you need to come over to these candles and pick one up. Think. Gotta get the mood right. Every time you click, he pauses. It's really annoying. So if you use the candle on the recess, which is next to the Madonna. Okay. Give it a light.
What was that noise?
What was that noise? For some reason, I just lost all my matches. That's what that noise was. It was some bastard coming in and stealing all my matches. And if you press the Ouroboros, it should open a door, which is like here, which is obvious.
I knew it. Another secret passage.
Nice.
Amazing, Charles.
Don't crash
How
when you
did do
enter.
it?
Just another case of the old Stobart magic, I guess.
Magic.
It,
It looks a little dark in there.
it's a little dark in there.
Are you scared, Josh?
Of course not. Just worried about you tripping.
This place is surrounded by candles. Just take one with you, man. One short and very dark. Climb later. Oh, thank God it didn't crash.
Oh, this is one dark cave.
It's the door that worries me, George.
Oh,
Well,
It's
I'm
like we
sure the
trapped
door
in
will
here.
open again if we give it a minute. No need to panic.
several hours later. That's what it should say.
Now we panic. Help! I gotta say, Nico, you're pretty calm about this.
Traveling with you, George, I've got used to this kind of thing. If I panicked every time a door shut behind us, probably forever, well,
You're right. What was I thinking? You see if you can get the door open, and I'll go check out the dark evil-smelling cave.
I think that's a good payoff.
Fumbling around in the dark wasn't going to be fun. But heck, I'd spent a lifetime doing it, so it was new.
Don't we all, brother? So this reminds me of the Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis game. That's a pretty old game where you fumble around in the dark and it's like weird things, squidgy hole, smooth stone. I don't think unlike that game, this game doesn't suddenly make everything a bit lighter the more you stand in the dark. I think you need to use, is it the stone object?
It was stone with a recess in it and, an oily liquid in it. There was some kind of thin twine in the middle of it, too.
Some may think now that's a candle. If you use the matchstick on the stone object.
Hey, Nico, I think I found some light.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hello.
It must be Ganon. Ramon said he disappeared while searching
like
the mountains
deaden.
for the tabula.
So this is where he ended up. Dead in a cave. And
Fool.
on closer inspection,
He shot himself.
I'd even say blown your own brains out dead.
Okay,
Brown bread, isn't he,
George, I
then?
get the point. What is this place?
Who knows? But look at the Gnostic symbols.
You're right. The colors, the trees. But who is she?
Well, it looks like the
That's
Virgin
Mary
Mary,
Magdalene.
but I don't think
He's
it
in
is.
red.
What do you mean?
The red robes and that whole off-the-shoulder look?
Very
It must be
seductive.
Mary Magdalene, of course. Marquez told me that the Gnostics revered her. This place, it's some kind of Gnostic shrine.
There's got to be something to release that door. Maybe amongst these carvings.
But if it was that obvious, don't you think Ganon would have found it?
Probably not. This is a very broken sword. The bull's head in is it in Syria? Hopefully, when we you know what? I guarantee when we leave this, we're gonna be attacked by somebody. It's almost guaranteed. But yeah, this is like you know, the cave where you go in and you get the you get ambushed by Khan. You have to shake his hand with the buzzer. Oh, good times. Just thinking about Broken Sword 1 makes me want to play it. That's not good, is it? If I'm playing one game and I'm thinking about another. Wow. So yeah, this section of the game is probably the hardest in the whole video game, or video games. From what I remember, the puzzle with this stupid tabular thing had me confused. In fact, when I first played this game, I cheated because I had absolutely no idea what the fuck to do. It's so confusing. I'll do my best to explain, but yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to that puzzle. So as you can see, it's typical green, blue, and red, which is these symbols, isn't it? Was it Jehovah was the green dude, Lucifer was the blue dude, and red represented man. And obviously Mary's in the middle.
It was a radio.
Thanks, George. Which represents these. So green and blue. I don't know why that's green, but it's kind of nice, and it looks yellow, but meh. So if I'm gonna save because this game's crashing a lot recently, and yeah, so just bear with me for a second.